A mess. Yeah, but you can fix that. Like if you wake up looking crazy, you just pull your hair up, find the cute curls, and then just rock that. But I really just wanted to use this video, because it's a distraction tool. Most people will click off by now. Um, to talk about everything that I've learned so far when it comes to um, what's it called? Natural homeopathic medicine. So, oh, that's pretty. So, I was learning about coconut oil because I made another video and I'm like, I think coconut oil is awesome, but I feel like too much is gonna like really be a problem. So coconut oil has a lot of saturated fat, which is gonna cause a lot of heart attacks for people. Regardless, some people are saying, "Oh no, that's just a learning phase. Your body's detoxifying and getting rid of like all of these toxins and whatnot." So you're gonna need to get used to it, but after a while, your body will go back to normal. It's very, very high in saturated fat, right? And that, it's good if you use 1 tablespoon the whole day. But if you're using a lot to cook and bake and all that stuff, it's not that good for you. And the reason is that, what's it called? The reason is that it's going to give you a heart attack. It's really not a healthy source to use on a consistent basis. Just remember one thing, if you remember anything. Everything is good in moderation. Everything. Like just make sure you do everything in moderation. You're not supposed to be doing anything excessively. I would put a headband on, FYI. And that's a key role in that. Same thing with coconut water, because I just bought coconut water because there's this company called RootBlends. Roots Blend or RootBlends. And they have like these packets of what's it called? Mixed kind of fruit and protein and spirulina and all that they create. And it's $8 a package, and you mix it with coconut water, not water, and you drink that. And each package makes two healthy drinks. But with the lady that I work with, she's a billionaire. She's the one that put me onto it, and her personal trainer created the brand. She said that she gets like 3 or 4 out of it, because she like, and they're big. She made like a big drink, and she showed it to me, and I was like, okay. So I thought about it, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's wealthy, right? And you take this big thing of fresh fruit, right? Because they deliver it to you, and you have to put it in the freezer right away, and you're supposed to drink it like within 12 days, right? Once the freezer, it's fine, but I mean, like, you have to be there to accept the delivery. Somebody has to be there to put it in the freezer right away, because this is how it is. Because usually they have doormen, they have housekeepers, they have somebody that's going to be there to accept the package, right? So it's $8 for this package where you can make 2 to 4 green drinks, and they're amazing. So I got this coconut water, which is Badia, because it has pulp in it. It is so good. And I just wanted to make sure it was natural coconut water. It says the ingredients are just coconut water, young coconut pulp, and then sodium meta whatever, which I didn't see, which I'm not happy about. And that's, I guess, to keep it okay. It's a sodium metabisulfate. So if anybody wants to tell me what that means, I would appreciate it. I'm probably going to research it after this video anyway. But it's the most amazing coconut water I've ever tried in the entire existence of my life. Not only is it amazingly delicious, but the coconut pulp makes it so good. So I figured I bought that, and I was going to mix it, but my thing isn't coming because it's July 4th week until Thursday. So I made this order. I bought 6 packages. I tried 1 of each, and then I got 2 of the one that I know that I like, which is A2. There's like A2, they're all different ones. But A2 is the one that I liked. That's protein. So she's like on this high protein diet. So I thought to myself, I'm like, wait a minute. You're filthy rich. You can afford to buy a green juice every single day for like $8, right? Because that's how much they are in the city, in Queens. In Manhattan. But for $8, you're getting 4. 2 to 4. Right? And plus you have to buy the coconut water. So $8, $9, $10. So rich people are not only getting fresh ingredients delivered to their home where they can, make these drinks and have everything they need, but they're getting it cheaper than the public. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm sharing with you guys this company. It's called RootBlends. It's only in the Northeast right now because obviously they make the products every day. they package them and then they ship them out overnight so that it can get to you. I don't know if it's hand delivered or if it's UPS or whatever, but I know it's overnight, and it's $20 for shipping unless you buy 12 packages, which is like a package that they have, and then it's free shipping. So if I like these, I'm going to start getting the 12 package a month, which is good for 12 days worth of servings, and then they give you 2 per day. I think it's 2 per day, 2 packages a day, or maybe it's 1 package a day, I don't know. But I just wanted to share that with you. So when I was looking up coconut water, whole point of the story, I saw that that's also bad for you too, because it's very high in potassium, and that causes a lot of issues in your body. So keep that in mind, that like anything in excess isn't good for you. The only thing I do know is that if you eat the same thing every day, because I notice a lot of like immigrant Irish people and a lot of Hispanics have the same thing, the same type of meal every day, like rice and beans and meat, or like potatoes and, you know, whatever kind of meat they eat. I don't know, corn something, corned beef, right? They eat the same thing every day. They tend to be super skinny because their body knows exactly what they're getting, when they're getting it. They keep a very minimal diet. They're not all over the place. Like, weight gain really comes from eating a lot of different things. Like, we live in a very buffet style society. So you have like 4 or 5 things on a plate. People like to mix it all up and then eat it all together in one spoonful. And then you see those people that you look at and you're like, you're a little OCD, but they're not, because they're doing the right thing, where they divide everything on their plate and they eat one portion. So they eat just all the meat at once. They eat all the vegetables at once. They eat all the starches at once. Why? Because they're very familiar and they understand that your body can only process what it sees at that time. So if you're mixing meat with the starch, with the green, and it goes in your stomach, your body's like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, which one do I digest first? And it goes, you know, and then it starts storing things into fat because it doesn't know what to do. But if you eat meat, all the meat first, your body's like, oh, this is meat. I know what to do with this. I'm going to, you know, digest the meat. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Now there's greens. Then it changes its process to digest the greens. Oh, now there's a starch. Then it changes its process to digest the starch. Does that make sense? But if you put it all together, your body's like, I don't know what to do with this. You know what? I'm going to wait till the next meal. I'm just going to turn all this into fat. If that makes any sense? If you want to think about it, like, because I think about everything having a voice. That's kind of like how you could look at eating, you know. So it's better to not eat a meal with 3 things. It's better to have a piece of meat at, like, you know, as part of your meal, and maybe a salad, but not like a mixed salad, because again, it's confusing, you know, but like a green salad, or having a green salad. That's why rich people, they have like 4, 5, 6 course meals, and there's a gap between them, because what they're doing is they're allowing you to have a small, like if you've ever gone, well, can't say that, it's like a $250 meal, Le Bernardine. I did that once I left Uber. Me and my friends all went to Le Bernardine. It was like $250 per person. It was worth it. It's one of the few times I'll do it, because I'm going to do it again. But basically there's 6 courses. It's a seafood place, but each one has like 15 minutes in between, and then they have like a wine tasting with each one, wine or champagne, right? And so the portions are like this little, right? But you get full because you're eating 6 or 7 of those portions. So you eat it, you wait like 15 or 10 minutes before the next course. Your body's digesting it, it's taking its time, then the next course comes out. If you ever eat with wealthy people, their dinners are hours long. It's like 1 or 2 hours long, because they're letting their body digest between each course. So you have your appetizer, which is a salad, usually, because salads activate everything, or a soup, or sometimes it's soup and salad. They let their body digest it, then they move on to the next course. That's how we should be eating. We shouldn't eat everything at once. You shouldn't have the soup with the rice and beans and meat and salad, and then the tortilla and everything all at the same time. They should be separated, and you should have some time for your body to be able to do it, so that when you introduce the next food, it allows it to process. So now what I'm trying to do, like this morning, I boil eggs. This is what I have for breakfast every morning. I'm going to do it every morning. I don't care, because I'm not a breakfast person, but I could eat a hard-boiled egg. So every morning I'm having 1 to 3 hard-boiled eggs, depending on how hungry I am, whether or not I ate well the night before. At lunch, I'm trying to have a really big, hearty lunch at like 12 to 3. Because I do work, now that I'm doing like the TV mounting and stuff like that, and I'm constantly like picking stuff up and whatever, so I am using and exerting a lot of energy. which I'm very happy about because my body's finally going back to work instead of sitting there lethargic at a desk all day. And I hate the gym, so I'm not going to do that. So I'd rather like be in a job where I'm physically moving around for a little while until I go back into like somewhat corporate America as a consultant on a full-time basis. Then I have to go to the gym or do something like run or whatever. I hate running. But anyway, so I do that, and then I try to have an early dinner because I remembered when I was in high school, we always had dinner by 5. And then if I got really hungry, at night, I would have like a ramen noodle soup, or I would have cold cereal. But we only had healthy cereal, like Basic 4, Raisin Nut Bran, and like my mom really only bought. I mean, those are high in sugar still, but they're generally more healthier than Fruit Loops, Cocoa Puffs, stuff like that. Even multigrain Cheerios is better than, Honey Nut Cheerios. Go figure. So, basically, that's kind of like what my diet consisted of. But the crazy thing is that in high school, I used to have a Diet Pepsi in the morning, sometimes a breakfast sandwich. Then I'd have a cheeseburger and fries for lunch, and then I would come home and have dinner with my family. But I was super skinny. But then you're young and your body's moving and you're all over the place. You're taking the bus, you're going to school. And between every single period in school, you're walking from one class to the other. And then you have gym, and then you at home and you're hanging out, and then you play after school. Like I always did my homework on the bus. I would like go to the park and play and exercise, and then go home, eat, and then go back to the park and hang out. So it was a very active lifestyle. So when you go from a very somewhat active lifestyle to sitting behind a desk for 8 to 12 hours, you're gonna get fat. So in middle America, like that might be what's happening. So the best time to go to the gym, if you're in corporate America, is at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now there's something that they say why it's between like 5 to 7 in the morning. You should go to the gym before work. One, because it gets your body going and it gets your energy moving for the day. 2, there's something with the rise of the sun. This is with the yoga that I learned. With the energy that you get at sunrise and the energy that you get at sunset. So those are the 2 best times to do yoga, is at sunrise and sunset, because the energy of the earth and the sun and the change from the dark to the light does something for you. See, my videos always get deep if you stick around long enough. I kind of like babble in the beginning and kind of like weigh people off. But if you stick around, you're going to get the information you need. So I found that very interesting. I learned that at the yoga retreat that I did in Puerto Rico. And then, then what else? So that's the best time to go to the gym if you have a 9-to-5 job where you're kind of stagnant throughout the day. And then if you do have a 9-to-5 job, just find a reason to go up and down the stairs. Take the stairs if you can. If you can't, do kind of like stretches and exercises at your desk. Keep your body moving. I used to stretch a lot when I was younger. I would come home and dance for 2 to 4 hours every single day if I didn't go to the park. And I used to do a lot of yoga stretching because that's what I was taught in my dance classes. I didn't know, I've been very privileged in my life, but I took 7 years of dance, and my teacher incorporated yoga into it, not knowing that it was yoga. I just thought I was stretching, like it was part of the warm-up. So I had been doing that throughout the course of my life until I turned about 23. And the reason is, when I left my mom's house, because my mom always had like 6 or 7 bedroom houses up until that point. So we always had a lot of space in the living room. There was always space. We always had a lot of space, which is why I have the apartment that I have now, because I need space or else I lose my mind. Well, not really. I mean, I can get along in it. I just won't be as chipper. I moved in with my cousins, and we had tiny rooms. I mean, they were big compared to Manhattan, but still they were tiny compared to what I was used to. And so I didn't really have a lot of room to move. And my cousins were always in the living room, and I really didn't want to go there all the time. And the living room wasn't really the kind of living room that I could dance in the way that I used to in my other house, because it didn't have enough space. And that's when I started gaining a lot of weight, like a tremendous, like 80 pounds, 70 to 80 pounds. And part of it is also because I took the Depo-Provera shot, and that back then, that was when the Depo-Provera shot was new. So when a new drug comes out, don't be the pansy. Like, don't wait a year or 2, unless you really need it because it's a life-saving drug. But like the Depo-Provera shot, I gained 30 pounds the first month and then 70 pounds the rest of the year. It was ridiculous. That was also the same time I lived with my cousins, and I wasn't really working out or doing anything, So it could be a combination of that. And I was eating a gallon of ice cream. Like I bought a gallon of ice cream from Baskin Robbins, and that would last me like the week. And every day I came home from work, because I was just miserable. I would just like eat some ice cream because I was like, I'm home, but like I didn't have my family, which was like my brother, my sister, my mom, you know, everybody that came over, and it was just me and my cousins, and they were kind of like a thing. So I kind of like just ate ice cream in my room after work because I was tired and I was working and I had a full-time job. I just got to. So I'm just like, hopefully this is making sense to some people. Like if you're going through this after college or whatever, don't do that. If you have a job and it's your first job out of college, make sure that every day after work you're going out and you're meeting people. You're going for, you know, to meet friends. Even if you're eating, make sure you have your dinner by 6 or 7 o'clock. If you're going to bed by 10, you know, or right after work, go grab something to eat and then just hang out with your friends. Go to the gym if you have to, but I don't really like going to the gym after work because I feel like it just, then you're wide awake and you can't go to bed, you know, but everybody's different. But these are just some health tips for people overall, because I'm looking at these patterns of behavior, and now that I'm starting to change my patterns, I'm seeing a huge difference in the texture of my skin. Like I'm always glowing now. The feel of my skin, I'm feeding my skin, which is important, I think, because your skin is the biggest organ. What do organs need? Organs all need food, right? So for people that don't put anything on their body, that's actually good, because if, God forbid, the electricity goes out and we don't have access to these products, you'll survive. But for all of us that are dark skinned, we tend to need a lot of like oils and things to keep our skin not dry, you know, or ashy. So I started to feed my skin. So now I make sure that I put oils in it as opposed to lotions, because lotions have a lot of chemicals. And remember that whole thing about poisoning your body from the outside in, which is why I stopped using regular deodorant, even though I do use it when I know that I'm going to have like a 5-hour job, because I can't be stinking at a job. Like I just can't, I'm sorry. And that, like, you know, natural homeopathic deodorant is good for like 1 or 2 hour jobs, and I can reapply or whatever. But I'm just gonna be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. But so with the skin, I'm using a lot of like oils, like rice bran oil, jojoba oil, coconut oil. Even though I'm not a big fan of coconut oil, I don't know why. I just have a feeling that it's like, it's just being promoted too much and it's too easily available, that I don't think it's good. I think it's more of the mass marketing of the 1%. And then at some point you're going to realize it's not good for you, because that's what they do. They mass market something to you, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is amazing. And then you find out that it causes cancer, and like half the people in America die because they're always trying to control the population. But that's a whole nother story. If you watch my videos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So what I'm doing now is I'm feeding my hair with like oil, mayonnaise, avocado mixes, you know, like you mix that with oil, you mix it with mayonnaise, and you put it in your hair, you let it sit for a little while, then you wash it out. I'm putting oils in my hair. I'm cleansing, conditioning. I'm going to start making my own cleansing conditioner. I'm in the process of like playing with recipes, homemade, so I know that it's good. And then I'm still working on my skincare line, so don't worry, it's coming out. But it's not going to be, it's like an Etsy thing. It's like a homemade artisanal thing with no preservatives. So you have to get it from Etsy or from, you know, like eBay or something, because it's not a mass produced item. It's like a on demand or, you know, made by order item. Sorry, I'm getting a little sick. I had the air conditioner on all night. Usually I have it on half the night, and then I just let the room, you know, cool down. But I left it on all night. So now my throat's like, oh, hello, we're not in Antarctica. So feed your skin. It's an organ. It's the biggest organ in your body. It needs food. And it's not just going to get the food from the stomach that you eat. So it's really important that you feed your body. And I feel like if you feed your body, this is something that I'm trying right now, it'll work better. It won't retain as much fat because you're giving it food and fat all the time that it doesn't need to retain it. It'll just dispose it. But we'll see. I'm trying to eat much smaller portions, but keep in mind I'm 38. I'm 38 now. So I don't need as much. When you're like born till you're like 25, you eat like a garbage disposal, because you're growing and things are changing and everything's growing. But when you hit a certain peak at like 25 and up, you start eating less and less and less. And older people eat even nothing. They don't even need to eat really, because they're not really exerting a lot of energy. And you know, so I'm like in that in-between phase where it's like some days I need to have a really big lunch, like I'm big like bandeja típica lunch, or montanero lunch, you know. But then I can have like a small breakfast and a small dinner. You know, where before it was like I had 3 huge meals a day because I was growing and my body was burning all these calories, but it's not doing that anymore. I've also learned that when you do the natural toothpaste, like charcoal, turmeric, baking soda, any of those combinations, or a combination of the three with coconut oil, you're only supposed to do that once a week. And the reason that it works and it keeps your teeth so white and it feels good is because it's actually removing the surface stains because of the granular texture of the actual spice or powder. If you do that too often, it rubs off your enamel. So if you notice, if you take a plastic bag and you put toothpaste in it and you go like this, you'll feel the granules, and that's kind of like what helps clean your teeth. If you take something like Amway toothpaste or Tom's toothpaste, Amway has a toothpaste called Glister. It's like the best toothpaste, but it has fluoride. So that's why I started making my own, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. But then there's Tom's toothpaste, which doesn't have it. They're clay based, so it's like a super fine clay mixed with something else, and then they mix it together, and then they have this clay based toothpaste, which is what I'm gonna try to work on next, because I just bought some clay. And see if that, and then you put that in a plastic bag and you go like this, and it's smooth, it's not as granular. That's better for your teeth in the long run if you're going to brush your teeth every day. What I recommend, honestly, is oil pulling, because what happens is you brush your teeth, right, but all of this up in the top of the roof of your, since I was a kid, my grandfather always told me, brush the roof of your mouth, it's going to cause bad breath if you don't. Same thing with brush your tongue, right? But what about this? What about your gums? What about inside? That stuff, that's what gargling is for. So you're supposed to gargle with Listerine to kill all that. But most people, well, a lot of people I know gargle, but a lot of people I know don't have Listerine or gargle, which I think is weird. There's oil pulling. If you don't want to brush your teeth too hard, you can oil pull. Take the oil, pull it, put it in your mouth for 20 minutes. Don't swallow it, because it's going to come out white, all the toxins that are coming out of your body. Your mouth is a very, it absorbs a lot under the tongue and stuff. So when you put these oils in, it can also pull out what you don't need, but it's also absorbing part of the oil, so the oil's okay. But then with all that funk and stuff, you want to spit it out after 20 minutes. But you're supposed to do it for a good 15-20 minutes with the oil. Probably, like, everybody's different depending on how big your mouth is. It could be anywhere from half a tablespoon to a tablespoon. And you just rinse with your mouth for 15 to 20 minutes. Same oil, never spitting it out until the end of the 15 to 20 minutes. That will clean. It's also depending on the oil that you use, if you use coconut oil, or if you use rice bran oil, it's also antimicrobial. If it's a regular oil, like olive oil or whatever, you can put a couple of drops of peppermint oil in it, because the peppermint essential oil will act as an antimicrobial, and it'll start killing all the bacteria, the bad bacteria in your mouth, stuff that you don't need. And then you rinse, and then you spit it out. One that's healthier for your teeth, because it's still cleaning your teeth without, causing damage, but you still have to floss if you eat like these meaty things that get stuck in the middle of your teeth, so that, remember, you always have to floss. You should be flossing since you're a kid. I mean, it was even in Pretty Woman, you gotta floss. Another thing about the turmeric, charcoal, those two specifically, if you do those types of toothpastes, they're not good for fake teeth. So if you have like a veneer, if you have a, maybe I should drink some water. If you have a veneer, if you have a cap, a crown, or any of those things, it might stain that tooth. So don't do the charcoal toothpaste and stuff like that if you have that issue. I think that covers everything. Water. So I started drinking only bottled water, but not bottled water from America. So I bought this one, Acqua Panna. And then I found out Nestle made it, and it's supposed to be from Italy. And I stopped because Nestle is a horrible company. I wouldn't eat or drink anything from them. It says bottled at the source, Acqua Panna, Scarperia e San Piero, Italy, by San Pellegrino, Località Ruspina, Italy. So basically it's supposed to be bottled there. It might be okay, but when I found out that Nestle had something to do with it, it said Nestle somewhere, but now I don't see it. It's so weird. Now it's saying San Pellegrino. But there was Nestle on the bottle, so maybe it's not Nestle. Maybe it was the other one. Oh, no, I don't know. But still, I'm not drinking. Oh yeah, here it is. Distributed by Nestle Waters. Yeah, I still wouldn't trust it. So now I'm not drinking San Pellegrino, and I'm not drinking Nestle. I drink Voss water. I mean, I'm drinking this because I bought it, so I'm not going to waste it. I drink Voss water, which is still good. It's from Norway. There's a water called Icelandia from Iceland. Somebody told me about a water called Essentia, but I think that's American. I have to see where it's bottled. But the reason that I like it is because it's the only fluoride-free water. So they remove the fluoride. It has a reverse osmosis. They distill it, which means that they take the water, they boil it, it evaporates, so then it's supposed to be in its purest sense, its purest form, and then it comes back down, and then they do reverse osmosis to clean it even more, and then they remove the fluoride. So supposedly it's really good water. I bought a case of that's coming, but I stick to my Voss water so far. If anybody has any recommendations, I recommend sending them to me or putting them on the link below. I bought Clearly Filtered, which is supposed to remove the fluoride, and they have like these bottles like this one that you can travel with, which I use when I hike. So you can put like river or lake water in there, and then this filter is supposed to take out all of the bad things. It doesn't take out the bacteria, keep that in mind, but it takes out all the impurities, you know, and things that might get you sick. With this filter that comes in the bottle. And I also take this whenever I travel overseas. They also have a pitcher and a filter that looks a lot like Seychelles, but it's not Seychelles. It's Clearly Filtered. Because Seychelles doesn't take out the fluoride. So that's another thing. I want the fluoride out of my body. I'm trying to decalcify my pineal gland. I'm also trying to save my body and my mind from being lethargic and ridiculous and retarded, because that's what fluoride does. We're the only country that puts fluoride in their water because they're trying to control us, because there's so many of us and we're so free and radical thinking. But so are the Europeans, and they don't have fluoride in the water. But they understand things. Like they're taught more sensibility than we are. Like in Europe, people are more responsible. They're more aware, they're more mindful than we are here in the United States, depending on where you are. I mean, I'm talking from being in a big city like New York versus these small towns. I think if you go to upstate New York and these small towns, it's very different in America. People are more mindful, they're more aware, they're more polite, they're kinder, it's more rural. I definitely like that part. You might be seeing a huge shift from me moving from here to there, or buying property there and going there more often, and then coming here only to make sure that my mom's okay and visiting and stuff. What else? I've learned so much. Charcoal. I take charcoal every day just because I do the constructions when I drill a hole through the wall. Like, I still wear a mask, but supposedly it sticks on your clothes, so I have to like wash my hair every day, which is why it's curly when I get home to get all that stuff off. But if I inhale anything, I'm a little nervous, so I take the charcoal just to hopefully grab any of that stuff and to it's supposed to work with, if you get poisoned, you take charcoal, so that like helps pull all that stuff out. So I'm hoping that works. Maybe that's why I have this thing, because I've been doing a lot of like drilling through the walls lately. And I didn't have my mask yesterday or the day before. I just got it now. So, what else? I'm looking around my house. I made this really awesome body scrub, but it looks like you gorgeous ladies are wrestling with mud when you're in the shower, because it's just everywhere. But I've been doing that to my body, and I've noticed a tremendous difference in the tone of my legs and the tightness and firmness of it. It's just coffee, cocoa powder, and oil. That's it. And then you have to hand mix it with a hand blender, because if you mix it with a hand mixer, it's not going to be as soft, or it's not going to work as well. And then sometimes I do put a little bit of water in it, because I know oil and water aren't supposed to mix, but it does work in this case, until it turns into almost like a mud mask. And when it gets that consistency, and then I do put some bentonite clay, or clay, whatever kind of clay you have. Some people have red, black, green, white, which is kaolin, kaolin, and gray clay. So I put some clay in it, and it gets even smoother. And then I use that, and I just scrub it all over my body, like literally from my neck down. I do that like once or twice a week. And I look at that as food, because it's the cocoa and the coffee and the oil going into my skin. And I just put that on my skin, and then I take a mud mask, like a real mud mask. I like Borghese active mud, and I put that under my arms and on my feet, because that's like the stinky parts. And then I have the other scrub everywhere. And I kind of like just sit in the bathtub for like 10-15 minutes, just hang out, think, whatever. And then I put the water on and wash it all off. And that's really, really good for your whole body. I mean, like, you just feel amazing. You feel like you're like loving yourself and taking care of yourself. It's like a really awesome thing. I highly recommend it, y'all. Get those ingredients. It's ground coffee. I try to get like espresso ground coffee if I can. Like, I grind it myself in the Vitamix or the coffee grinder. But you're gonna have to use a little coffee. Well, I mean, if you do it per session, like I make a big jar and just leave it in the bathtub. But yeah, but then when you go to wash it off, it's like a mess everywhere. You know, you have to really wash it off. And then if you have certain types of tile, maybe, or like the plastic, like the one, so you have tile, right? And I think you're okay with that. I have like a plastic cover that went over the tile, I guess. Like, it's weird because we have a jacuzzi in our bathtub, so it kind of like it's like this plastic thing. You have to scrub, you know, afterward. Like, I don't really scrub. I just take the bleach and I just spray it over the bathtub. So after I shower, I take everything off. I rinse the bathtub. I then put the bleach on. I spray it to get that off. So you might have to do that as well. I don't know if it's going to stain tile because I don't have tile. It hasn't stained the tile in my bathtub, like in my bathroom, but I don't know. It hasn't stained the ground either. But just FYI, cleaning tip. Don't want you to get mad at me. This is all advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. You know, like, this is just me experimenting through life as I learn these things from these people. The Essentia water was a tip that I got from a girl yesterday. I told her about, you know, she had Mexican sparkling water, which I thought was awesome. She's like, yeah, where I'm from, the only sparkling water we have is from Mexico. And I'm like, that's amazing. You know, so then I automatically assumed she was from Texas. I'm like, you're from Texas, right? She's like, yeah, how do you know? Because Texas has a very high trade with Mexico, because it's right there. So just, you know, it's interesting. I learned a lot about her. Like, I just kept saying stuff. I'm like, oh, you're this and you're that. And she's like, how did you know? Because you can, like, tell a lot from somebody's room. But anyway, really cool person. I hope to stay friends with her for a very long time. I really like that girl. We got along very, very well. I showed you the coconut water that I'm drinking. Please give me any feedback if you've tried the Badia coconut water. I used to date a guy whose last name was Badia. That's funny. He was a wrestler. It was funny that I made a reference to wrestling. What else? And then I think that's everything. I don't think I have anything else to say. It's a long video. It might have been worthwhile to some people. It might not be worthwhile to some people. Please leave comments when it comes to like useful advice, because as you know, if you leave a negative comment, I just delete it. You know, like, I have time on my page for negativity, and I don't want people on my page to see all that negativity. So unless it's good advice that's negative, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, let me make a video to correct it because I was wrong, then I'm not gonna keep it up. I guess I just needed water because I don't have that thing in my throat anymore. But yeah, so rock it out. Try to be healthier, safer. If you guys have any advice on buying land in Middle America, I'm trying to get like a couple of acres and then build my own thing on it. If you guys have any hints, advice, very affordable, a couple of acres just for myself, maybe like a couple more if I want to build a house for like my mom and my sister and stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it because I don't really have a lot of people in the Midwest that I can talk to. Well, I do. You know, I'm gonna call my friend. She's in real estate, but it's South Dakota. I don't really know about the Dakotas. And also, look at my complexion. I need to go somewhere where I know I'm gonna be safe. There's not a lot of like, you know, white supremacy going on because it's still an issue. All right, thanks.